Hello, PJTV fans. I'm Andrew Klavan, and you may have heard that The Muppet Show is back on primetime, so they're sending some of their puppets around to do promotion. I'm here with my co-host, Bill Whittle. Bill, your question today comes from Dadmin. Does putting a junk car on your front lawn harm the neighbor?
I really wanted to take this question.
That's
I thought this question was really interesting to me because, you know, as a kind of a conservatarian who really believes that, you know, you really should be able to do whatever you want to until you harm somebody else. And in an era where everybody's feelings are hurt and everybody's outraged, and I spend most of my time saying, that's not harm.
Yeah.
You know, the question is this harm? And I have a personal loathing for these, what are these things called? These, like at a condominium, the homeowners association.
Yeah.
You know, these little Nazis that are telling you what, you know, what you can put out and not put out and what color everything has to be and the yard has to be this manicured and all that other stuff. So on some level, I'm naturally inclined to be on the side of the guy who leaves the junked car out on his yard. And at the same time, he is harming his neighbors. He is actually causing them financial harm.
Yeah.
And this issue is one that I think is really one of these issues where we can really understand what our philosophy is by taking it not necessarily to the most dramatic edge, but to maybe the most gray area. So obviously, look, on one hand, if a guy's got a junk car and he wants to leave it on his yard, it's his yard. He can do whatever he damn well wants to. That's one answer. But by having his property look like crap, he is in fact affecting the people next to him. So I think that the neighbors actually have a case to be made. You are harming me by lowering the value of my house. You are causing me significant harm. I think in that case, you can say that the guy doesn't necessarily have a right to have a junk car or treat his house as if it's nothing. Now, of course, then you get into this whole kind of thing of where is the house, right? I mean, that's part of it too. If you are in a neighborhood where junked cars are common, you're not really doing a lot of harm. If you're in a neighborhood that's otherwise pretty much spick and span and spotless, and you decide to leave a car on blocks in your front yard, you are suppressing everybody else's property values. So I think it's one of these things, as always, where it's like we're not going to have a zero tolerance policy about anything. We have to look at what the individual situation is on the ground in that case and figure out whether that guy's really harming his neighbors or not.
I think that's right. I mean, after all, it's not so much a question of whether he's harming the neighbor. He's obviously bringing down property values if, as you say, it's a fairly nice, decent neighborhood. The question is, what's the reaction supposed to be? I mean, when you pose these questions to people on the left, they immediately go government on you.
Right.
It immediately becomes, well, the EPA should send in a helicopter with armed men dropping out of the, you know, and obviously the answer, it seems to me, is that neighbors, this is what neighbors do. They get together and they go to the guy and they do like an intervention. They say, dude, you know, you're bringing down everybody's values. Could we get you on board? You know, you don't have to escalate to government action right away or ever. You know, it may be that you just got stuck with a bad neighbor and that's going to be part of your life. You know, I know that people have come to me in neighborhood situations and say, would you please do this and all this? And you work it out as human beings. And I think that that's the conservative answer is always that people should work these things out without the help of the stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's right. Without the help of the stormtroopers. I think that's exactly right. And ultimately, no matter what you say, I don't think that the neighbors have a right to bring coercion into it and have the government or whoever lawyer to force him. If you are in fact a conservative, really when it gets down to it, you're absolutely right. Try to work it out, but when you get down to it, that guy paid for that property. It's on his property, and if you start to interfere with that, then your problems downstream are going to be bigger than a junked car.
I agree. And that's all we have time for, as our neighbors would say. And let us know what questions you'd like answered by leaving them in the space below. For my puppet friend Bill Whittle and PJTV, I'm Andrew Klavan. Thanks for watching.
Screw you, Chad.